2026 will be a huge year for Pokemon, so here are the 5 sets in my opinion that will perform the best. So these sets can range from nostalgia sets to really solid sets, but they just haven't had enough time to age, so we're going to be covering it all. Here are my top 5 picks. I believe that they'll do the best percentage-wise, whether it be ETB, booster box, or loose packs, but yeah, I don't want to waste your time. We've got 5 big sets to talk about today, so let's begin. Alrighty, coming in at number 5, which is Crown Zenith. So Crown Zenith is a kind of set where it has a lot of untapped potential. Now, what do I mean by that it has untapped potential? Well, basically, with Pokemon cards, a lot of the enjoyment comes from the value. Let's be real, it is always fun to collect a $1,000 card versus a $1 card. The excitement, a lot of the time, comes from a couple things. Your favorite Pokemon, the artwork, but also the price. YouTube videos, which ones get the most views? It's opening up the expensive boxes. Which vendor POV videos get the most traction? It's the ones with the most expensive deals. So value is a big thing. Crown Zenith is a good set. It's weighed down by its good pull rates. Good pull rates is a good selling factor when the set is in rotation, but when it's out of rotation, it's really bad because those cards really struggle to go up. I'll check a couple charts on screen of some Crown Zenith cards, and you'll notice, like, yes, they've gone up, do not mistake me, but at the same time, they're struggling to break that new ceiling, right? Like, let's just talk about Umbreon VMAX, difficult pull rates. Now, Umbreon VMAX was 300 USD, actually, it was honestly less, it was like 200 USD when all these guys came out, but now it's like 2,000 plus, so it's 10x in price. But you look at, like, the Giratina from Crown Zenith, and I mean, like, Sucker was like, what, 100, 150, about that range when Crown Zenith came out, and now it's like 250. It hasn't really gone up a lot. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, why is Crown Zenith on this list? The reason why is, this is what I think is going to happen. Crown Zenith is a really good set. 30th anniversary is going to bring in a lot of people, and those people are going to get attracted to Crown Zenith. They're going to see Prismatic Evolution's Umbreon, and they're going to go, holy moly, love Umbreon, don't love the price. They're going to look at the Pikachu from Surgeon Sparks. Holy moly, love the Pikachu, don't love the price. So on and so forth. They're going to stumble across Crown Zenith and be like, hang on, whoa. One of my favorite Pokemon is in there, whether it be Glaceon, Mewtwo, Giratina, the list goes on. It's got a lot of heat, but it hasn't tapped its potential because the pull rates are so easy. So there's a simple fix to this. The fix is just get more people in the hobby. You see, Evolving Skies can do just fine if no one new enters the hobby because people who are in the hobby right now love opening it up. But you've got to think to yourself, when people are brand new to Pokemon, they gravitate towards cheap cards and they build their way up until eventually they just love expensive cards like all of us. Now, these people originally will start off with Crown Zenith and they'll go, oh, hang on, Crown Zenith, Gengar VMAX 600, Umbreon 2k, Espeon 300, Lugia 400, Mewtwo, was it like 150? Giratina, like what, 220, 250? Then you got Glaceon, like 50 bucks. So they'll gravitate towards that, which will drive the price up, which will make the Elite Trainer box and all the goodies from there go up. Also, if new people in the hobby want to actually open up Crown Zenith, it'll also help it as well. I think Crown Zenith has a lot of potential in 2026. It's the kind of set where the singles just need to go up. It needs to break that resistance. Once it does, it'll do amazing. It just needs to break that resistance. Alright, number 4 is Celebrations. Now, Celebrations, realistically, the best time to buy it was about a year ago. That was your best time to buy it. Now, you can still buy it and you make a great amount of money, but you're not going to make as much money as you did back then. However, let's face the facts. 30th anniversary is coming out. Every single time a new 5-year anniversary comes out, the previous Celebration set, or realistically all of them, just do really well. So it's a slam dunk. Like, if someone said to me like, hey man, I just want to make as quick gains as possible in the next 12 to 18 months, I'd probably say, all right, buy Celebrations. And the reason is, yes, it's already gone up a lot, but you've got to think to yourself, as we get closer and closer to 30th anniversary coming out, the anticipation will grow and it'll just naturally do really well. Now, also on top of this, there is also a Gold Star Greninja inside the Elite Trainer boxes. This had a massive run up, but if I'm being honest with you, I think it probably should be more because Gold Stars is probably the most iconic and it's aged the best type of rarity from vintage. Like, normal holos, okay, yeah, they have their place, they haven't really aged that well. Like a lot of them, the prices hasn't really gone up a lot. Like if you look at first edition Charizard PSA 10, it hasn't really gone up. Like if you go from 2020 to now, that it hasn't really progressed. If you compare that to Gold Stars have done really, really well. They've done exceptionally well. Gold Stars, I believe, is the best performing vintage item this bull run. So I think that combined with Celebrations is usually a trip down memory lane. You know, it's a good mix. So yeah, I think Celebrations will do quite well. Obviously, it's done a ton of gains already, but I still know people who love opening it up. You've got to think to yourself that every single time those chases go up, more and more people feel enticed to open it up, and people will be opening up, warming up for 30th anniversary. What's the first thing that people do when they're getting in the spirit of something, like say Prismatic Evolutions? Something a lot of people were doing was they were opening up Evolving Skies. Or whenever there's a new set that's somewhat linked to an older set, generally people just like to revisit the older one. The same thing is probably going to happen to this. So I would expect Celebrations to be like that placeholder where people are like so excited for the 30th anniversary, so then they'll just open up a bit of 25th while they wait. So I think it's going to do really well. There's going to be a massive spotlight on it. Now, if you do decide to buy it, I will challenge you, please hold it for 12 to 18 months at a minimum. The reason why is because there's a good chance if you buy it right now, you will not see gains for a while. There's a good chance that one day it's just going to jump up and then happy days. It's not really Evolving Skies. It's not really that relevant. It just has its moment every 5 years. It has like 2 years where it does really well, and then it just dies, and then comes back 3 years later. I mean, Celebrations is a great example. Celebrations was just so dead for so long, but then the end of last year, it really started to pick up. And it's just picked up momentum ever since. Alright, number 3 is Paldean Fates. So Paldean Fates is the kind of set that's really good, we all know that, but the thing about it is because it's still in rotation, there's naturally going to be an invisible ceiling. However, once it goes out of rotation, that ceiling disappears. So the gains you're seeing it doing right now is just the start. 2026 is going to be a huge year for Paldean Fates. And here's the thing, right? When a set is in rotation, there's always hope of reprints. There's always hope of all these different things. But I feel like once it goes out of rotation, yes, nothing has changed, absolutely, but something just clicks. Where people go, you know what? It just clicks. I'm never going to be able to open up this again at retail. It's only going to get more expensive from now. And as people become more and more aware with Pokemon and the prices and how it rises, this will happen more and more sharply. It'll be less over the years as slowly but surely goes up. It'll be a sharp, quick gain. You know, back in the day, you would see booster boxes go up a little bit every single couple months. Now you see those sharp returns where Evolving Skies has not moved for 4 months. It will just randomly on a Tuesday afternoon just do really well, and then for the next week it'll just do really, really well, and then it'll just die for 6 months, and it'll just come back later, right? The community has become very aware of these prices. So when Paldean Fates goes out of rotation, people will think to themselves, damn, Bubble Mew, the Charizard, Gardevoir, all the shiny Pokemon, the shiny Charmander, shiny Pikachu, all of these, I'm either going to have to buy the singles, crack the packs, because yeah, I'm never going to be able to open up Paldean Fates at a cheap price again. So if it's going to be $400 an Elite Trainer box in the future, if it's going to be $30 a pack in the future, I'd rather open it now when it's like $15 a pack and everything is much more affordable. So that is going to click next year. Number 2 is Evolving Skies. So Evolving Skies and Sword and Shield as a whole has been hibernating. Now, I'm going to say Evolving Skies, but I am also more talking about Sword and Shield as a whole. So this is just Sword and Shield as a whole, take it as a grain of salt, but I'm just going to be using Evolving Skies as like representing it. The thing about Evolving Skies is it's done incredibly well this year, absolutely. But you've got to think to yourself, next year, we're going to have a massive wave of new people coming to the industry. The first thing people get introduced to when they join the Pokemon industry is realistically Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is generally like a household name, right? Like when I got into the hobby, Evolving Skies was the first set I knew about. It was just it represented Pokemon. Like it was literally, I don't know, it's hard to put a finger on it, but it represented Pokemon in a way where If you know Pokemon trading card game, if you're inside of it, then you know Evolving Skies. Like, even people that I know who know what Pokemon is, they know about the trading card game, but they don't really collect it. They even know what Evolving Skies is. So that level of iconicness is not really going anywhere. And rather, I think next year is going to be a huge year because people will look at Scarlet and Violet and go, it's not about era, but what about the previous one? Like, there's always a curiosity about the previous era, right? And also, Scarlet and Violet is still incredibly new. So, have you noticed how there's no Decimals? Have you noticed there's no Prismatic? Guys, Prismatic, Decimals, they will have their year. That'll be 2027. That'll be their year. Because in 2027, Prismatic will be 2 years old. Then the FOMO is going to start to kick in with Prismatic. You know the FOMO we're experiencing right now with 151, Paldea Evolved, and Paldea Fates? How people are scrambling to quickly buy it? That same FOMO is going to be for Prismatic and Decimals in 2027. So that's why I haven't mentioned it. 2026 is going to test everybody to see how well they can actually hold. Like, will I actually still be holding Destined Rivals 2 years later? I guess we'll see. Will you be holding Prismatic Evolutions? I guess we'll see. Did you overinvest? Did I overinvest? Who were the smart investors? Who were the dumb investors? Just because I have a bunch of Pokemon doesn't mean I'm going to end up being able to hold it, and same goes for you. Same goes for everybody. Everybody will be tested, and all of these new people in the hobby will, actually not even new people in the hobby, just everybody will be mutually tested to see how well they'll be able to hold. If you start to see people move away from Decimals, move away from Prismatic Evolutions next year, and they move to Crown Zenith and Celebrations and the older Scarlet and Violet, that just screams that they're not truly locked in. They're just buying what's relevant now. It takes a lot of balls to know that you're going to hold an item and the next 14 months you're probably not going to see any gains. But at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be an immaculate amount of wealth generated from Prismatic and Destined Rivals and those newer sets. But they're not being mentioned in this video because they are simply too new. So talking about Evolving Skies, when I got into the hobby, Sword and Shield was the latest era, and I naturally had a curiosity to Sun and Moon. If I'm being honest with you, didn't really care about X and Y. There was just a curiosity about Sun and Moon. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. What are these tag teams? That's pretty interesting, right? And people are going to do the same thing with Scarlet and Violet. They're going to look at Sword and Shield and they're going to go, ooh, so these Arte, hey, this is the era everybody's hyping up, right? The thing about Evolving Skies and Sword and Shield is the question isn't, will it do well in 2026? The question is, how well will it do in 2026, right? Like, I'm debating Scarlet and Violet. The later sets will not really do that well in 2026. I think they'll do well in 2027 later on, but not 2026. Too early. However, I'm sure there's thousands of people that would be willing to debate that. I'm sure there's many, many people that are watching this video and they're going, you know what, Sam, I actually disagree. I think Destined Rivals will do exceptionally well next year. I think Booster Box is going to hit whatever price. Now, we both disagree on that. What we can both agree on is Sword and Shield will do exceptional next year. The question is, how exceptional? How well will it do? If that is your question, you're investing in something right. Number one is 151. 151 is in the exact same scenario that Crown Zenith is in. The singles are too cheap. We need more buying power to drive up the price. People come into the hobby from Celebrations, then they see this immaculate, gorgeous piece of art, which is 151, they're going to see it and they're going to go, wow, I need a piece of that. Hang on, hold up, pause. Destined Rivals Mewtwo is $400, Umbreon SIR is $1,000. You mean to tell me that Charizard SIR is $250? You mean to tell me Blastoise, my favorite Pokemon from back in the day, is $70? Well, shut up and take my money. That's going to drive the price of that, which then makes people want to open it more, which then makes the price go up of the sealed boxes, right? It's going to cause a chain effect, and that is going to be triggered by a massive influx of people coming from 30th anniversary, and they're going to see 151. The reason why is because a lot of people who come in with 30th anniversary, they're going to be coming in where they've been quite tapped in with Pokemon, just they take breaks every now and again, right? So let's just say they got in with 25th, they enjoyed the set a bit, it's going to cause this whole hype wave, especially if, like, imagine you're a 40-year-old dude or a 35-year-old dude and someone tells you, like, hey man, you know your favorite rarity back in the day, which was like prime cards or, I don't know, gold stars or really whatever. Yeah, well, they're bringing that back in this set, dude. It's going to be so cool. Oh man, well, I'm going to have to open up some. I'm going to have to enjoy it. Hang on, what's that? What's 151? Hang on, the pull rates are easy. The cards aren't that expensive. Those are some good looking cards. Showing somebody who only knows vintage, like the Charizard SIR, is like showing a caveman an iPad. Look, the dude's mind will just melt. They'll be like, holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever. You mean I can touch buttons on here and it'll take me to whatever app I want? I can do whatever I want? That's pretty freaking cool. And their mind will just, they won't be able to comprehend it. I feel like a lot of old school collectors who haven't really been that tapped into the hobby, they get brought back in and then they stay for 151, right? It's the same thing as Fortnite. When Fortnite said that they were doing the OG season, for anyone who doesn't know, Fortnite, it did really well. A lot of people felt nostalgic to a certain style that they had in a certain map from many years ago. They announced they're bringing it back and they crushed every single record immediately. When it got brought back, almost every single gamer went on Fortnite that day. And it was out for, I think, like 2-ish weeks. But the thing is, the power of nostalgia cannot be underestimated. And this is basically getting that and multiplying it by multiple folds. Celebrations is the one of two opportunities that Pokemon can use to hook in old collectors. The other thing that they can hook in old collectors is just Generation 1. That's exactly what 151 is. So 151 will do exceptionally well next year, in my opinion. That tied with it's also going out of rotation, it's set up for success.